Welcome to chapter 14 of Far from the Madding Crowd. Effect of the letter Sunrise. In the previous chapter, we have seen Bathsheba writing a valentine addressed to Mr. Boldwood. In this chapter, we will see the effect of Bathsheba's letter on Baldwood. The effect of Bathsheba's valentine. Let's read from Hardy's words first. Since the receipt of the missive in the morning, Baldwood had felt the symmetry of his existence to be slowly getting distorted in the direction of an ideal passion. So here the missive is nothing other than the valentine or the letter that Bathsheba has sent him. So the effect that the letter has caused on Mr. Boldwood is more than we can imagine. Ever since the moment he got the letter, he kept thinking about the letter. He kept thinking about who the author of the letter could be, or what their motive is, etc. This was something very new for Mr. Boldwood. Read a few more lines from the text for you to know the gravity of Mr. Baldwood's feelings towards the letter. When Baldwood went to bed, he placed the valentine in the corner of the looking glass. He was conscious of its presence even when his back was turned upon it. He kept thinking about it. It was the first time in Baldwood's life that such an event had occurred. The same fascination that caused him to think it an act which had a deliberate motive prevented him from regarding it as an impertinence, because he thought that someone wrote the letter with a motive. Maybe the motive would be that the woman who had written the letter wants Mr. Boldwood to marry her. He looked again at the direction of the letter. So some woman's hand had traveled softly over the paper bearing his name. Her unrevealed eyes had watched every curve as she formed it. So these are the thoughts that came to Mr. Boldwood's mind. He went to bed. He tried to imagine the woman who had written the letter. Then again he came out of the bed, took the letter again, hoping to find some other details. He couldn't find any. He reread the letter. He reread the words, "Marry me," for 100th time. The next morning, Mr. Boldwood woke up early and set out from his house. As he reached the road, he heard the mail cart arriving, the cart which would carry all the letters. So the driver of the mail cart held out a letter to Mr. Boldwood. So here we have a new letter, and we know what would be in the mind of Mr. Boldwood. He thought that this is another letter addressed to him by the same anonymous lady. So he reached for the letter. He reached out for the letter hastily and he opened it. So here we can read from the text. It is the dialogue of the driver or the mailman. "I don't think it is for you, sir." So here the mailman is talking about the letter, the new letter. So he is saying that "I don't think the letter is for you, is addressed to you," when he saw Mr. Baldwood's action. "Though there is no name, I think it is for your shepherd." Baldwood looked then at the address, because when he saw the letter he didn't even care to look at the address. So now when he looked at the address, he saw that it was addressed to the new shepherd, Weatherbury Farm, near Casterbridge. It was for Gabriel Oak, not for Mr. Boldwood. Oh, what a mistake! It is not mine, nor is it for my shepherd. It is for Miss Everdane's. So this letter is for Bathsheba Everdane's new shepherd. So Gabriel Oak asks the mailman to take the letter to Gabriel Oak and to tell Oak that Mr. Boldwood opened the letter by mistake. At that moment, Mr. Boldwood saw Gabriel Oak at a distance. So he decided to take the letter to Oak himself, as he thought it was an opportunity for him to know about the whereabouts of his anonymous letter. So since Gabriel Oak is a shepherd, he'd be having connections, and Mr. Boldwood thought that it was an opportunity for him to seize so that he can know more details about the letter he has in his hands, about the anonymous letter. With that hope, Mr. Boldwood followed Gabriel Oak. I've reached the end of chapter 14, and this chapter happens on February 14th and on February 15th. The whole chapter revolves around Mr. Boldwood and the effect of Bathsheba's letter on Boldwood, how it changed him, how seriously the letter affected him, is all the chapter talks about. Thank you.